What's up? It is eSports Live on a Friday. Gonna have a good show on a Friday. Got some tickets to give away. I mentioned yesterday I got Holiday World tickets that I'm gonna give away. And Easton asked, "How you gonna do those?" And I said, "Let me figure that out." I figured it out. We're gonna do some on the show today. How about that? So give some tickets away to Holiday World on the show. But talking about Cam Ward, who spoke to the media for over 8 minutes after his first mandatory rookie minicamp ended with the Titans, and he had a lot of things to say and a lot of colorful ways to say it. And I think the legend, as somebody says here in Landon, the legend of Cam is growing. And I agree with that. Not like the fact that he is a legend on the field. It's just the legend, the aura around him, the stories about him we are now seeing in real time. So the legend of Cam continues to grow. And when Cam speaks, it feels like everybody listens, and I think people believe him when he speaks. So we'll talk about that and go dive into deeper of things that he said, colorful things that he said, just good football things that he said. And then we'll talk about Will Levis a little bit because Will Levis just wrapped up his mini camp as well. And maybe we're going to start something that we'll do a check-in basis of the Will Levis tradable meter. How tradable is Will Levis right now? Is he more tradable, the same, or less tradable than he was going into rookie or the mandatory minicamp? And then it is good news. And so we'll talk about those tickets that we'll give away with everybody's good news as well. But Easton, welcome in. Hope you've had a good, busy week. Minicamp's over. The summer officially begins. So let's get this thing going.
Yep, busy week. Good morning, Austin. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Looking forward to today's conversation. Got a lot to touch on, but first, make sure that you have liked the show. That is what we need you to do here at the top. Hit that like button on Facebook, on YouTube. Help us out. Like the show, hit the thumbs up, and then jump in the comments like Rashid and Jeremy. Willy Wonka, I see, is over in Twitch. Look at that. We got a Twitcher this morning. Yeah. Josh, Bustin' Diamond, Richie, top tier. Good morning to all of you folks. Vanessa, good morning. I would love to hear your thoughts on today's conversation over there in the chat on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Take your pick. And we got a lot to cover today on the Cam Ward of it all. Austin, looking forward to playing a whole lot of video from his availability yesterday, which I thought was pretty good. So looking forward to that.
Yep. So let's get going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports here live on a Friday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freed, our Titans reporter for A2Zsports.com. And we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Leave us a 5-star Google review for our company, A to Z Sports. That absolutely goes a long way for us, and we appreciate that help out from you guys. We also got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and without them, it doesn't happen. And so shout out to Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, and Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They are online at bartondrury.com, also local guys to the mid-state and Nashville area, big Titans fans at bartondrury.com. So Holiday World tickets, got them right here. I've got 8 to give away today.
Whoa.
8. I'm going to do 2 4-packs. How about that?
All right.
And we're going to do 4 to people that are watching the show right now.
Okay.
But later in the show. And then I'll do 4 on social media. So keep your head on a swivel for that. Great holiday fun. Holiday World and Splash and Safari just north of Nashville in Santa Claus, Indiana. A childhood favorite of yours, right? Like you love
been more times than I could count. I have been at least 20 times to that place.
At least 20.
It is. At least 20. And
all fingers and toes for Easton to Holiday World.
Yeah. And I it's been a couple summers since I've been, and all this talk is making me realize I need to find a time, and here's the thing. It's like, all you need is a day. That's the beauty of it. I just need to find a day this summer. I can get up there and back and have a great day and be back in town for the next day.
Yeah. And then, your daughter's not quite a year old, but I mean, at some point this could become a family annual thing, right?
I'm talking about just going by myself.
Oh, just solo.
No. Yeah. It will eventually be a place we definitely take her, because it is as much fun as I have as an adult there. And it is a ton of fun. It is outside of Disney, it is about as good a family environment as you're going to find in terms of a theme park in the world, I think. So it's exciting.
All right.
It's exciting. Are these universal tickets that we have? Like, just you can go any day with these?
Yeah.
Or do they have to go on a certain day?
Well, this 2025 season.
Oh, okay. So it's just
Which they opened in a month ago.
Yeah.
And valid through like the first couple, like maybe the first like 12 days of August.
And it's definitely hot enough now for the water park.
Water park, Splash Safari, absolutely. So stay tuned for later in the show for a little bit of a ticket giveaway live on the show. One person watching the show later will win a 4-pack of tickets to Holiday World. That's how I feel about that right there.
Okay.
So Easton, let's dive into the topic at hand. That is Cam Ward speaks. We believe him. How the Titans rookie keeps separating himself. Before we dive into Cam Ward's post minicamp practice interview session, give us an overview of what yesterday's practice was, the third and final. You were there. What do you see from Tuesday to Wednesday to then Thursday, outside of the jersey swap from some skill players that confused people for a moment there? But what do you see from Cam Ward and the rest of the Titans on day 3 of minicamp?
Yesterday was big last day of school vibes. It was family day out there, something that I had not seen the Titans do before. They are certainly efforting to get their NFLPA family treatment score up next March or February. It's around the combine that comes out. I'm going to go ahead and predict that their score this year is a very high mark across the league, because they brought in like 7 food trucks that they pulled into the. So if folks have like seen videos and stuff, like the practice field is kind of blocked off from the road by the building by a giant L, but they pulled the trucks into the like practice area
inside the L.
Yeah. Inside the practice area onto the concrete pad. They blocked off one of the 3 practice fields with ropes and put out like cornhole boards and put a bunch of tables and chairs out in front of the food trucks. And they had everybody who is on the team or coaching for the team or anybody that is employed by the Titans, is my understanding. Their family was all invited to come for family day for the last day of practice, to watch practice, to hang out afterwards and eat at these great food trucks and have a good time. And so very cool set up there. And, you know, the media, we're just kind of like walking amongst them and saying hello. And, oh, look, you're Cam Ward's grandfather. Nice to meet you. And so that was fun. And they did red zone day. So, day 1 of mandatory mini camp, there wasn't really much of a theme to it. Day 2, we talked about how that was 3rd and long situations. They were doing 3rd down stuff. Yesterday rather, was primarily red zone day. And so you got a pretty good show in the short area for everybody, kind of packed around that one end zone. And we got to see a lot of touchdowns being thrown, a couple of big defensive plays, some pass breakups, a couple of interceptions, made for some good fireworks. In terms of the actual football on the field, it was not a day that was really dominated by one side of the ball or the other, like day 1 and day 2 was. There were really some big plays by both sides of the ball. I felt like the defense was pretty strong early. I felt like the offense finished stronger than the defense did. I think that there are a number of players we can talk about that made some big plays. The Bryce Oliver agenda is alive and well after yesterday. Bryce had his best day of practice that we've seen so far. Absolutely. He scored 2 or 3 touchdowns yesterday, which was impressive to see. Although he was wearing, as you pointed out, he was wearing Calvin's jersey. So it was Bryce Ridley that was scoring those touchdowns. I don't know why Chig and Mason Kinsey decided before they came out for practice to switch jerseys, but they did in the locker room. And then other players saw them do it and decided, oh, we should do that. And then there were like 8 or 10 guys that swapped jerseys, which objectively a funny bit. But also a total pain for everybody else involved, because the poor photographer's out there. The poor photographer that we pulled pictures from the USA Network comes up to me and he's like, I think some of these guys are wearing different jerseys. And I'm like, brother, I'm so sorry, but so many of them are wearing the wrong jersey, because they don't really know the team super well, and they certainly don't know the faces. And they go up after the photo session or the open camera session, and they plug in the photos online for those of us in publications to use, which we appreciate. Yesterday they were in a blender on that, which stinks for them. I'd imagine all of the Titans employees who, this was the last day of the spring portion of their offseason competition. And so, everybody's awarded points. The poor intern or whoever's having to like watch the practice tape and assign points also in a blender.
Yeah.
So again, a funny bit that made some people's lives pretty difficult yesterday. Some of them were easy to tell. Like, I don't know if folks know this, Chigakonkwo, Mason Kinsey, not the hardest guys to just look at and realize who is who. But some of them were less easy to tell.
Yeah.
And so that's the way that went.
Yeah, the 85 looked really big on Mason Kinsey's body.
Yeah.
It's a big number. Mason Kinsey, not big.
Even funnier than that was Restrepo and Van Jefferson switched, which those two guys are very different.
You know what? I saw Tajay Spears wearing Josh Barlow's 81, and I was like, Tajay actually rocks 81 pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right. He filled it out. Yeah.
He did. So let's get to the Cam Ward side of things, because Cam Ward threw a couple picks. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
He'll talk about that.
He will talk about that for sure. But Cam Ward, I find this crazy. And I'm going to go back to something that I don't know if Easton, you were on the show with me, or if this was a Zach show or a Sam show back in like the winter early draft process. But Cam Ward went out there and said the whole, if you don't draft me, I'm going to haunt you till you're gone. Or like, I'm going to haunt you. I'm going to come back and beat you. All of these things, right?
Right.
And I was like, I don't care. Like, so many people can say that. Like, that's like, Josh Rosen said that. Tim Couch said that. Like, so many good players and bad players have said that if you don't draft me number one, I'm gonna shove it in your face. That was a Peyton Manning line. That's a Kobe thing. And Cam Ward did it too. I didn't care. But now, the more I get to know Cam Ward, and the more I listen to Cam Ward, the more I'm like, oh, his words, they're not just words. They're not just easy to say things. He says things, and I think we're all buying it. And Cam Ward was about as real as he could get in the first minute and a half of his press conference availability after minicamp. Here's a Titans rookie quarterback yesterday.
What's your plan for the next 5 to 6 weeks before you report to camp? And will you gather with your receivers and some of the other quarterbacks and go over things just to kind of refresh everybody?
Just work out, stay in the playbook, and throw the ball. So
we saw a pretty good back and forth with you and Jeffrey, I guess, for his first day back. What's that been like, and what's it been like kind of exchanging trash talk with the defense?
It's been good. I need somebody like that, especially somebody like Jeff who's going to let you know he's there every time. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the league, if not the best. I'm glad he's on my team. I'm glad he's not one of the ones who gets a chance to get a free shot at me. But, I'm happy I'm playing with him. I know he's, excited about my future, but I can't wait to get on the field with him on Sunday.
Offenses look really good.
Brian said yesterday that he had to ask you if it was okay to put in a play call when you're still talking to Jeff. How are you able to focus, kind of do it like that, and how much does the trash talk kind of fire you up or lock you in?
I'm always locked in. Trash talk, it'll never mean nothing to me. It won't get to me in some type of way. I'm just somebody who likes doing it. And so what's the point of playing something that you love? You can't have fun with it. So that's where it comes from. But I love the game, and so any chance I get, to let somebody know that if they can't f with me, it really doesn't matter.
So there's a minute of 18 of Cam Ward, 2 F-bombs, and I'm sure the coaches are like, let's not do that.
No, the PR forward. People are going to immediately. I'm sure we're like.
I think most people that are not like players, that are employed by the Titans, like, let's try to not do that. Like, Calvin Ridley can't help himself. Calvin Ridley will drop some type of cuss word he's not supposed to say in every press conference that he does. He can't help himself.
Because then he knows he's not supposed to, because he always is like, oh no.
Oh, my bad. Right. And then he censors himself after he does it. Cam doesn't break stride. He doesn't. No, like you've got somebody laughing and he drops an F-bomb. Who giggle. Like in the back, and like Cam's he keeps going. Like it's part of who he is. Mm-hmm. And so let's I think too much cussing though. He needs work on media training. This is the first time I've heard him cuss in a media setting, right? He's done a lot of media throughout the I have not.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to talk to some Miami friends to see if that was a thing or not. I don't really. I know that national NFL level media or local NFL media, I've not heard a bunch of cussing. So I don't know. It's not like he's out there on the practice field like a total sailor. It's just he's a football player.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened at the end of practice that had him carry over and and was still in that mode. And like Curtis says, who cares about cussing? I mean, a lot of people children or parents,
Yeah,
the FCC cares about cussing
they do.
a lot. I just think I don't, but
YouTube
like sponsors
monetization.
may. YouTube monetization, sponsors, corporate people, like a lot of people care about cussing, and a lot of people
He may have been kind of pissed off after practice. I don't know why. Maybe just he didn't feel like he was as good in practice as he should have been. But we were all waiting on him because we spoke to the players coming off the field. We caught just about everybody we wanted to. Spent, so practice ends. The first 15 minutes after practice, we're talking to all the other guys coming off the field. And then there's another like 20, 25 minutes that we're still standing there waiting because Cam is doing individual work. Last guy on the field, working with a trainer or two.
Everybody and all the receivers.
No, like by himself this time. At first, yes.
Really?
At first, they were all out there, and then they all start to peel off. And at the end, it's literally just Cam like running sprints on the field. And we're like, is this guy just like it's whatever. We don't really care. But we're like, is he just doing anything in his power to not come talk to us? Maybe he just doesn't want to talk to us. And then he finally comes over a good 30, 40 minutes after practice was over. And then he talks to us. So I don't know. Maybe he was, it looked like some self-punishment out there. Because when you get to the point where you just finished a 2-hour practice in the sun and you're by yourself and you're just running laps on the field, it's like, that's some self-inflicted pain for no reason other than you just, I guess you're trying to.
He has a reason.
Clearly. I don't know what it is though.
And I think that honestly, that story kind of goes into it. Cause when I was out there on Wednesday for practice, afterwards, it felt like they were doing work. Like it was Cam and the receivers. They were doing work after practice, but they're having fun doing it. It reminded me of like high school football game ends and you see all like the little siblings and the kids on the field throwing football and like goofing around. And then the parents like, hey, they're about to turn the lights off. We got to go. And like, that's what it felt like with the energy of having fun, but actually getting work in. And so now seeing that yesterday he had a bad practice, or to his standard, maybe didn't appreciate how it ended and carried that over to his press availability where he dropped a couple F-bombs saying what he's going to do. So let's play the beginning of this and then we'll ask our question one more time. We'll ask our question. So we'll play this at the beginning of this. And then we'll get to our question here about Cam Ward's mentality.
What's your plan for the next 5 to 6 weeks before you report to camp? And will you gather with your receivers and some of the other quarterbacks and go over things just to kind of refresh everybody?
Just work out, stay in the playbook, and throw the ball. So
those 3 things.
Good plan.
That's what Cam Ward's going to do. So let's ask this question to all of you this morning. That question is, what's one word to describe Cam Ward's mentality? Because I think we've all gotten an opportunity to learn more about Cam Ward over the last month. It's really only been a month since he's been on the practice field for the Titans from rookie minicamp through mandatory minicamp. What's one word to describe Cam Ward's mentality? I'm curious to see where people take this because I think there's a lot of really good vocab word options on this. But first, let me tell you guys about our friends at Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. BartonDrury.com is their website. They are locally owned and operated. They're Titans fans, they're sports people. They're all about the community, and they're all about helping you understand your insurance policies because those are very, very, very overwhelming. They're complicated. They're like legalese. They're vocab words that we're not supposed to know because we're not experts, but they are. And they strive to provide excellent service to make sure that you understand what your insurance policies are. And it's not just your regular insurance policies like life insurance, which they got, but here are the things that they do sell. Employee benefits, which Zach and I have for our A to Z Sports employees. 401k planning, life insurance, workers' comp. We've got that too. Liability, auto, property, umbrella, and the all-important surety bond that they've got you right there. All the experts online when you need them, BartonDrury.com.
There is so much more to say, but first, make sure you have liked the show and then head on over to Google, search ATOZ Sports, and leave us a 5-star Google review. It's extremely helpful. It is free. We appreciate them. They are big for our site and analytics and internet stuff that another thing that I don't fully understand, but I do know it's important, just like a surety bond. So go and leave us one of those 5-star Google reviews.
All right. So what's one word to describe Cam Ward's mentality? We've gotten a handful of practice sessions and media sessions to learn more about him. But what's one word to describe Cam Ward's mentality? Because I feel like when he speaks, people listen, and I think we're believing him when he says things. So, Easton, I'll send you the chat. What are you seeing from everybody?
I am seeing dedicated from PB featuring Jelly. Dog from Caps. Dog from IR Hoshi. Junkyard Dog is certainly a thing that I would describe Cam Ward as. Conviction. Relentless. Refreshing. Dedicated. 2 words. Locked in. Confident. Mamba, as in Mamba mentality.
Good.
Cerebral. Him. Legit. Loose. Hungry. Grind. Killer. Consistent. Determined. Seeing a lot of dogs in the chat. People really think that he's a dog. Unhinged, but it's complimentary unhinged from Big Ten Jeff. Confident. 1 of 1. Smashed into a single word. Warrior. Focused. Kool-Aid. He's drinking the Kool-Aid, I'd imagine. Passionate. Invested. Swagger. Bull. I'm saying, yes. I mean, it's a lot. It's surety bonds. Remorseless. Wow, it's killer. Aura, dog, Kobe. It's a lot of the same things, but dog is the most common one.
How about this? How about Charlie Hustle just saying psycho?
Psycho. Yeah, I mean, I called him a psycho in an article that I wrote yesterday.
You did. Maybe Charlie read that.
He's a psychopath. He is
competitive. A lot of relentless. Moxie. I see authentic. I think none of these are wrong yet. At all. None are wrong. I'm going to go first.
All right.
Ruthless.
Sure.
He is ruthless. He takes no pity on anybody or himself. He does not care. He is a ruthless competitor who's going out there to do all of the things that you guys said. And it is authentically him. It is not performative. Because, like, I don't know about you, Easton, but like, you're 25. You're absolutely in the age of you have had social media and digital content your entire life that you can really remember, right? Your childhood came up with that, right? For the most part,
since middle school, yeah,
yeah. Which I think is when we kind of start to become like people in a way. Like you're no longer a kid. You're forming your personality and your habits through that. He's a couple of years obviously younger than you are, and so he's even more of that. I think a lot of people in that age demographic are so performative because I always look at the way people interact on social media and the way they interact in person. And on social media, you can say things and everybody's like, "Oh, bars! Oh, got him! Oh, what a dig! Oh, you smoked him, right?"
Yeah.
There's no consequences to the human aspect and the human element of saying something on Twitter or Instagram to somebody because it's not in their face. But like Cam Ward has the confidence to say whatever he feels, but he's not performative. He's not just trying to go out there and get a like or a retweet from somebody by saying something that somebody could deem as like hard or like, oh, bars, right? Like, no, he didn't give a damn. Like, Shedeur Sanders is that, and Cam is the opposite. Cam is not performative. Cam is competitive. He's ruthless, and he says what he thinks. So that's kind of how I feel about Cam Ward's mentality after honestly getting to watch more of the way he works, the way he operates, the way he talks over the last month.
Yeah, I like that. My word. Have you ever seen John Wick, Austin? Great movie.
No,
awesome. Oh. Chat.
Hey, by the way, we've got something to get to, by the way, for next week.
If you remember later, we can do it. I've agreed to be subjected to this. But John Wick is a fantastic series. But in the first movie, when the character is being introduced, he is described as a man of focus, commitment, and sheer will. And that is increasingly how I think of Cam Ward. So the word that I'm going to be using for Ward is focus. I think that he's a man of focus. I think that he is a one-track mind. We dating all the way back. I think this was March, February, somewhere early in the draft process. You know, there's videos circulating of him and Shedeur Sanders on the practice field, and Shedeur is talking about his I think his rap career or something extracurricular. And Cam Ward is, talking about how he wants to be known as Cam Ward, the football player. That's all he wants to be known as. He wants on his tombstone to say Cam Ward, American football player. That is real. That is what he is, I think. And that's all he cares about. And we talked to him yesterday about, what's your plan for the next 6 weeks when you're off, and what are you going to get up to? And you're going to, you step away and really try to take a break and, get away from the football. And he said something like, it's kind of hard to get away from the football because that's all I do. It's all I am is football. So it's like, it's like asking a fish if he's going to take a break from water. It's not really a thing that I can do, is the way that he feels about it. And I just don't think that is performative, to your point. I think that is really how he is, for better or for worse. And he's a psycho in that way. He's got some tendencies that kind of remind me of the legend of Joe Burrow, the way that we've heard him talked about in recent years, where he's low key, kind of not so low key anymore, a psychopath who you're like, this guy kind of scares me for real. Like this guy in a good way, but he is just so serious and dialed on what he does, and what he does is all he is. And I think that's Cam Ward. So I think he's a man of focus.
A man of focus. I agree. So people are coming after me for not seeing John Wick. No, I've not seen John Wick.
You really would love it. It's so much fun.
No, I'm sure. Like, I'm not a movie person to begin with. And then like once Zach and I started the company, a lot of my like pop culture and other things outside of this died. And so like, it's just, I don't know, like the last 9 years are a complete blur for pop culture things. Like you could ask me current events and I'm like, nah. That's why I suck at trivia so much. Because I don't know. I don't know current events. I don't know pop culture current events.
I'm somehow the opposite. I've become more like movie pop culture oriented since entering my 20s. Like I really wasn't a movie person at all until the past couple of years. And now I watch a ton of stuff. I go to the theater all the time. I don't know. I just love movies now. So that's what makes me bad at trivia, because unless the trivia is about a movie from the last 5 years,
you know nothing beforehand.
I tend to not know.
Yeah, because Donald's right. Austin needs to watch John Wick, and Easton needs to watch Remember the Titans. We'll come back to that momentarily. But to continue on Cam, because I think that, and somebody also said, let me go back to this. This is strong, but I honestly, like, this isn't like a bad way to describe Cam Ward. Like if somebody who knows sports was like, describe Cam Ward to me. Right. I think from like, not from a success on the field, but from an approach standpoint and from like a personality profile. Mm-hmm. Swan says Steve McNair plus Kobe Bryant.
Whoa.
And like, those are big, huge figures.
Yeah, it's a swing.
But again, like, and I hope Cam Ward ends better than those two side stories.
Jeez. But, yeah, I mean, yeah. True.
But from the mentality of their approach to their craft, their dedication, their relentlessness, that was a word that was used a lot. They're focused. They're not caring about other people's thoughts on them. I think it's a good way for somebody to understand pretty easily what you're trying to say. Right?
Yes.
Like if you're like, okay, tell me how I can understand Cam Ward as a person, as simply put, Steve McNair and Kobe Bryant mixed together. That's how he approaches it. Will it work? Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah. And as we said on Wednesday's show, I think, like, Cam Ward might be bad at football. He really might. We have, who knows? But so far, like, he's not giving us a great reason. And there are a number of things like this where I can say, well, if he's bad at football, I can go ahead and guarantee you it's not because of a lack of effort, a lack of focus, the wrong mentality. Those things are, I think, off the table already for reasons why Cam Ward does not work in the NFL, if he does not work in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a couple other clips to get to. Oh, well, and actually, Kendall has a super chat. If the talent matches the mental, he's NFL Kobe. So that's, I didn't even see Kendall's that until I went back to go look at the scope.
Technically true. That's a big leap because we all agree his mentality is, A++, but for the talent to match that, that's a very high bar. It's a very high bar. So we'll see.
Who is the current NFL Kobe if there's not one? Because I think Tom Brady's the NFL
Russell
Jordan,
Wilson.
right?
That guy's locked, dialed all the time.
Let's be serious here.
Russ mentality, baby.
Let's be serious here. Like if Tom Brady
I am
is
serious because Russ thinks that in Russ's mind he is.
Well, yeah, but because again, if you want to go back to things that I've said about former quarterbacks, Russell Wilson is a method actor that got stuck playing a quarterback and then malfunctioned. Like that's how I feel about Russell Wilson. But no, but who? Like, if Tom Brady is Michael Jordan, who is the NFL's Kobe?
In terms of talent or mentality?
Both, and success. Because that's what Kendall's saying. If the talent matches the mental,
it's Patrick, if you're looking for all of the things.
But Patrick's not. Patrick's more new age than that. Patrick's kind of more like the LeBron.
What are you trying to get at? I'm confused.
Patrick Mahomes is more new age, more out there, less. He's got some performativeness to him. Patrick Mahomes does. He's doing different types of commercials. Like Patrick Mahomes is LeBron, the newer Michael.
Okay, then it's Aaron Rodgers.
So you think Kobe is Aaron Rodgers?
Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing his own thing, not new age.
No.
Incredible talent.
I think Aaron Rodgers pre-2021.
Yeah, that's mostly. I mean, I'm certainly not referring to current.
I don't want to disrespect Kobe Bryant by comparing him to like Aaron Rodgers the last few years.
That's
they both torn Achilles late in their career, so maybe that's.
I was about to say both hung around too long, brother.
Oh man, I mean Jalen Hurts is actually a pretty good one too, on the young side.
In terms of mentality, yes, talent.
Right, but like
Jalen's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
All right, so let's get this other video from Cam. You want to talk about his? I guess the confidence part of it goes.
Do you have
into
the ping
mentality.
pong clip?
No, I don't.
Oh, come on!
I would have had to bleep too many things out on that one.
Fair.
But Cam Ward was asked. Yeah, you can watch it A2Zsports.com. Easton wrote about it, and Easton took an Instagram story clip from Calvin Ridley dogging Cam Ward for breaking a ping pong battle, and actually made it actually a good read on what that means about Cam Ward's mentality. But here's Cam Ward when asked about his confidence level after mandatory minicamp.
What would you say your confidence level is before this break heading into training camp?
10.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be your measurement for success, do you think, as you get into training camp? Like, how do you value each day for yourself, whether or not it was a good day?
You either throw a lot of touchdowns, you throw a lot of picks, and so you got to weigh your options. But I think the biggest thing is measuring the wins. The quarterback position will always be judged off wins. So I'm just trying to win a lot of games in the NFL in my career. Try to put my team and help the team in the best case to win a lot of games.
Kim, where do you think that confidence? You said 10. Where did that come from? You weren't really heavily recruited. You kind of had to prove yourself. Where do you think you learned to be so confident?
Just my upbringing, not getting everything I wanted, and also just believing in God. And He's shining the light on me. And I'm blessed every time I get to step on the field. I'm thankful. And so I know the work I put in. I know the film I watch. I know the things I do with my receiver. So I know every day it ain't gonna be perfect, but it's about just minimizing the mistakes that you make to try to have perfect days.
Were you ever at a 4 or a 5 or a 6, and when did you get to 10?
No, I'll probably never get that low, even if I throw a 4-book game this year. At the end of the day, I'm a gunslinger. I live by that. I always die by it. So Coach Callahan knows what type of guy he has in the quarterback room and me. And so, I'm just thankful that I got guys around me to help me out. Also B.A., Brandon, and Will. Tim in there, they help me out a lot, just getting me right with the protections. Then also the receiving core, they're going to be able to, compliment my game a lot.
Look, confidence at a 10. Follow up. Why are you so confident? And when have you ever been low? No. And then I thought Chris Harris asked a really good question of how do you measure success, because that's a different kind of topic from this. But like Cam's confidence is through the roof. It's not wavering. Like he stands there and he stood there for over 8 minutes and just took all these questions. And I thought it was a really strong performance. I thought the media, I've seen David David say just repeat questions every day. Man, these guys don't ask good questions. I honestly thought that was a really good question session from the media. I thought you guys don't understand.
The peanut
things.
gallery has no idea what this time of year is like. It is not easy. Asking good questions during this time of year is a lot harder than you think it is when you get in there. I promise.
Right, and there's a lot of like background, like we want to know, like, what are you doing this summer? That's like to follow up later on. How did it go? Like it's not like anything like it isn't not that deep. But
I had the displeasure of hearing a radio segment yesterday that was talking all about how Cam Ward's at a 10. Oh, yeah, how can he be at a 10? He hasn't played a snap of NFL football. Unbelievable, this guy's at a 10. I think Cam thinks that being an NFL quarterback is easy. And I'm here to tell you, it's not. It was some great talk radio.
Well, again, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about Cam. Cam doesn't care. Like I don't know what to expect from Cam Ward, but I just know that he's going to go out there and not let things affect him. He's not going to be fazed by something that somebody says or a mistake that he made in the field. He's going to, just go back and keep on being him. And I think him being him has made him successful. So I think it's pretty impressive overall. That's why I think he's ruthless. I think relentless. I think a lot of those words that were used earlier, you said focus, a lot of really good words that are all correct when describing Cam Ward's mentality.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I agree with you that I thought the questions were good. They were about as good as you can get for this time of year. They certainly weren't bad, and there are some sessions where there's some straight up bad questions asked. I did not think that was the case yesterday. And Cam did give us a lot of really good answers, and I just felt like that whole. I'm going to write about this at some point today or tomorrow. That whole 8 minutes, if you listen to it in its entirety and you watch it, like when you actually experience, and we've got the whole thing on A to Z Sports Twitter account if you folks want to go listen to it. I came away just thinking, man, Cam Ward is a sports psychologist's dream. You know it? Like he is probably the model for what modern sports psychologists would say. This is what you want your guys to say. It's what you want them to believe, and it's what you want them to feel. And I think that Cam Ward is 100% authentic on all three of those fronts with the way that he carries himself and the things that he said in that press conference. And it's a great blend of, he has very dry humor, obviously, but taking our questions seriously, not shaking them off. I know pre-show you were talking about, some quarterbacks don't do a great job of answering questions thoughtfully. And he does pick the good questions that he decides to answer thoughtfully and give us some good stuff. And so I think that he's the man when it comes to this time of year. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in the fall.
Yeah. And I was going to get to that because there were times where he asked a media member to repeat the question, and it wasn't just to like figure out how he could BS it off. It was to truly understand what they were asking, because he followed it up with a legitimate answer. And we've seen so many quarterbacks here in Nashville and across all of football that are just up there to I'm here so I don't get fined mentality to all press conferences. Mm-hmm. Cam Ward has not been that to this point. He was like, I could see his brain working to respectfully answer questions to the media. And you just don't get that. Like Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill shared like 9 to 10 seasons as the Titans starting quarterback. Those guys said so little to anything that was valuable, and it was coach speak, and it was, I'm not dogging or getting after those guys. They were they are pros. That's their job, is to go up there and not make anything of it. Tannehill said one thing about not his job to mentor Malik Willis, which was true, and it got spun inaccurately across national media as him, he's trying to like step on a rookie quarterback. That's not the case there. But most of the time, through those 10 years with Mariota or Tannehill, nothing was said. And Cam is out here working to answer questions, to give real answers and authentic answers. And I appreciate that. I think everybody should.
Agreed.
All right, now let's hear the dry humor on the Cam on his interceptions from minicamp.
We hadn't seen many picks from you in the offseason. Today, there were a couple. What do you learn maybe from a day and from maybe a couple of picks like that?
First one, 7-on-7, I don't count that. It's not real football. I'm glad I throw it to Cody. That's 6 points for my team. The second one, I should have sidearmed it. I don't know why I did some generic stuff. And really just getting better off the field. Got to continue to move backwards with my eyes. And then really just, playing clean football, especially in the red zone. I have to take care of the ball. I'm aware of that. But, I'd rather do all the crazy stuff in practice so the game I know I can get away with.
That's the perfect mentality to throwing practice interceptions.
Everyone laughed at the first one, which is funny. I found the funny one. I found the second one to be funny as well, where he's like, it's my fault because I made a normie throw. I should have given it a little razzle dazzle, and I'd have gotten it there. No problem. Yeah, some generic, which is hit. That's the one moment in the entire presser you could tell he was self-censoring himself. So we appreciate that for the sake of the clip. But yeah, he was like, oh yeah, I should have just gave a little sauce on the sidearm and it got in there. No problem. I don't know why I tried to be a normie and throw over the top. What a loser I was in that moment. That's on me. Won't happen again. The Cody Barton thing is funny though. I still need clarification on how these points work. Because if it's 6 points for his team for Cody getting an interception, isn't it also minus 6 points from his team for throwing the interception? Is there a disparity here? I don't know. We need the answers to this.
Like fantasy points where like defensive touchdowns are more than
maybe
like if your defense scores a touchdown, but your quarterback threw a pick, like the defensive touchdown is more valuable than the points lost from the pick.
Right. Fair. And that's part of the investigation that needs to be had. But also on top of that, I mean, listen, yesterday was last day before the Midway Award was handed out to the best team. I mean, conspiracy theory time. Was Cam cooking the books yesterday? I mean, does he care so little about reporting about his interceptions in camp that he's like, here you go, Cody. Boop, 6
Who
points.
Did you say? Do we have the team's graphics still set up? Because I don't think we saved it in the folder. But
he is on team Cushenberry, I believe.
Who's Arden Key's team?
I think it's Cushenberry Key.
Because I heard Arden Key told Buck that they're in third place.
Cooking the books, trying to make a last-minute leap. I mean, listen, I might have to, do some investigating on this story.
Point saving.
Blow this thing wide open. This is they're gonna get banned at the books for this.
That's so.
This is outrageous.
Anyway, so all right, so let's we go from one to the next, right? Because Cam is doing his thing. He is clearly the best quarterback out there. He is somebody that we are going to be very highly attuned to, obviously, in training camp to see what it looks like, how it continues to get better, and what he can do for the Titans. Then there's Will Levis, who, I don't know, like, how would you describe Will Levis's minicamp, Easton?
I would describe it as fine.
Not good, not bad.
I would describe it as it felt a lot like what we saw from him last year, to be honest with you. Like it felt like the Will Levis that I've seen him practice many, many, many times. He was very, very clearly the best of the three backups, no question. I'd say at least 2 of the 3 days, if not all 3 of the 3 days. I think there's an argument that on every day this week of practice, he had the single best pass of any of the quarterbacks. And maybe also the single worst pass of all of the quarterbacks. So it was kind of the Levis experience, right? Because if you just looked at the highlights from the past couple of days of practice, you would see some really pretty balls. And there's, yesterday, I think the Titans posted a video of the deep touchdown pass to Bryce Oliver that came off the hand of Will Levis. And that was a gorgeous throw. And he did things like that a couple of times, but he also had some really nasty misses, especially earlier in the week. So, I think that it was, I wish I had something more remarkable to say. It was,
that's what I want, right? Because I want, this is where I want to go with it is Will Levis. We're going to do the tradable meter. Like, how tradable is Will Levis?
Right.
I'm actually going to adjust on the fly. Because we need to set a baseline.
Okay.
We got ahead of ourselves because we're going to reset and do this checkpoint on this Will Levis tradable meter moving forward. On a scale of 1 to 10 right now, how tradable is Will Levis? On a scale of 1 to 10 right now, how tradable is Will Levis? You guys,
and we're trying to get at like how attractive he is as a
to other teams. Like
right.
how tradable of an asset is he for other teams? And I don't know how, earlier in the week we said like how excited are you for Cam Ward's rookie season? 10 being Jay Daniels, 1 being Jamarcus Russell. I don't know who's the most tradable asset the Titans have. It would be a 10, and Mason Kinsey's a 1, right? Or like I don't know who the
Rude.
least. It was rude, but like I didn't mean to do that to Mason. We just talked
Come
about
on.
earlier. He's not okay.
Mason Okonkwo deserves better.
All right. Let's see. Leave on Titus Leo.
Sure.
Leo is a 1.
Yeah. Curtis Jacobs, you're a 1, buddy.
Yeah. So maybe Jeff is a 10. I don't know if that even counts as a 10, but
He's a 10. He's a 10. Stop.
There's a contract and an age that goes into that. So anyway,
He's
might
a 10.
Will Titans asset, but yeah. But how tradable is Will Levis on a 1 through 10 scale? We'll set our baseline here and come back to this throughout the summer and training camp into the preseason until Will Levis is either traded or not traded. So we'll get to your answers. But first, the Bone and Joint Institute can take care of you whenever that injury pops up in life. It's always such an inconvenience. We're adults. We've got things to do. We've got responsibilities. We've got jobs. We've got careers. We've got a family. We've got things to take care of. And an injury just gets in the way. So don't let it stay in the way. Go to the Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin, Tennessee, off I-65 and Highway 96. They are the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. You can book an appointment when you need with any of their experts that have specialty in any type of injury, knee, ankle, hip, hamstring, soft tissue, wrist, shoulder, elbow, neck, back, concussions. They've got it all. Toe.
Head, shoulders,
fingers,
knees, and toes, one might say.
Literally everything. They've got you covered online, boneandjointtn.org.
There is so much more to say about William Levis, but first, make sure you have liked the show. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is to go to Google, go to Google, search ATOZ Sports, and leave a 5-star Google review for us. It's very helpful, and we appreciate those. So thank you for taking the time out of your day, maybe while you're multitasking, watching the show this morning. Do that for us.
All right. How tradable is Will Levis on a 1 through 10 scale? 10 being Jeffrey Simmons, 1 being, who did I say? Titus Leo.
Or Curtis Jacobs. That was my choice.
I think Titus Leo is better. Do you know who Titus Leo is?
Yes, because I follow the team. That is
what position? I did not know who Titus Leo was when I looked at this roster. What position does Titus Leo play?
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot.
See, exactly. You don't know who he is.
I think he's a cornerback.
A what?
A cornerback?
No, he is 6'3", 250. He plays outside linebacker.
Oh, he's one of the edge guys.
He wears the number 90. But he is from Wagner College.
Hey, hand up. That shows you how much attention the past 3 days I paid to the defense, which is very, very little. This makes me a bad beat reporter. Like the other guys, no. Like the other guys pay a lot of attention to like rotation for defense and stuff. I just can't be bothered to do that until July.
Yes,
I really can't. Because nothing they do matters. They're not doing any one-on-ones. There's no contact. It's just, what am I paying attention to the defense for?
You're not. Well, that part, you can pay attention to other parts of the defense, but the audience is not ready to talk about the defense right now.
I mean, that's a bad moment for me. I should know what position Titus Leo plays, even though there's a decent chance he's not even here by July.
I mean, do you know who Philip Bleedy is?
Philip Bleedy is a defensive lineman.
Okay, good job.
I know the UDFA guys. I don't think Titus Leo is he
second year player.
I was about to say he's not a rookie. So like I know all the new guys, but Titus Leo, I apologize. I guess I was not and am not familiar with your game.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how tradable is Will Levis? I'll send you to the chat. What are you seeing?
We are seeing a 4, a 3.6, very accurate, a 7. Caps thinks it's 10, but it's all about the asking price. Coach Will's a 4, Richie G a 2, 4, 5, 4, 5, negative 28, which doesn't sound very good. Eric 5, 3.9 from top tier, 6 from DeMario. Troy says 1, keep him. 4.8, 3, 4, 3.5, 6, 5. So not a lot of confidence, mostly below that 5 threshold, Austin. I'm trying to, we saw that 110, seeing a couple 6s and 5 and changes here. What do you say? Because the chat is pretty in line with one another that it is somewhere 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10.
I was going to say 4.5.
Oh, okay.
He's still a quarterback who's got traits. And that makes you tradable. But he's also a quarterback with traits who has had the poop your pants moments on national TV and has done it in meme form for an entire calendar year.
Unfortunately true. Yes.
And everybody sees that. Memes travel fast.
They do.
So I think that's where I'm at.
Everyone learned in science class, it's speed of light, speed of sound, speed of memes.
Memes could be faster than sound.
Is that right? Is that new?
If it's
in my
that good,
it wasn't that way.
If it's really good,
that might be the revised science.
Faster. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to, check back in on that.
So that's where I'm at. 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 10.
Okay. I'm at my gut was a 6. Because I've been pretty high on his tradability this whole time. I'm going to stick to those guns. I think that the timing right now, obviously, I don't expect him to be traded between now and July. I don't think anybody does. No. Him being traded is all a matter of circumstance, because I think in a vacuum, he is the attractive trade option that I have thought him to be since before the draft. He's a guy that is worth a reclamation project. And I was joking with Nick Suss yesterday about how painful it's going to be when Will Levis is eventually Kyle Shanahan's reclamation project and turns into an awesome quarterback, because I still genuinely in my heart believe that if and when Will Levis finds one of these super coordinator coaches in the league that thinks for you, as soon as he can find somebody that can be in his ear and say, just do exactly what I tell you to do and you'll succeed, he will be a good quarterback, because he can't think. We've established that.
No, but like Sean McVay is that, right?
Yeah.
And then Sean McVay got tired of Jared Goff.
Correct. But before he didn't, they went to a Super Bowl.
I know, but then it didn't work anymore.
I know.
And Jared Goff has gotten to where he can think on his own. And I think part of Jared Goff's maybe slower development was because he had Sean McVay, puppeteering him the whole time.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And so I just, I don't know. I just don't think it's ever going to work out, because, again, my best example of Will Levis as a quarterback is on the driving range. You're grooving it, man. The swing is smooth. It's in control. You're sticking to the plan, but you step up to the tee box, you grip it. Your backswing starts like smooth and groove, and you get to the top of the backswing, you say, F it, and you just grip, and it just goes some other direction, not the right one. Yeah. And he just doesn't know how to control that urge to just say, he is the hold my beer. That is the recklessness of Levis. And I don't know how that changes.
I hear you. And I know that's your opinion. My opinion is different. My opinion is that he can be good in the future. And it's going to take finding the right situation. So I look forward to that. I also dread that a little bit, because it's not fun when a guy goes somewhere else and is better. And I think that's what Will Levis will be. But back to the point of how tradable he is, that is to me entirely a question of circumstance and need, right? I think it's going to take a team deciding that they are just not nearly good enough at backup, kind of like the Packers did last year, and they need to go and they need to trade for a guy later in August. Or it takes a team, dealing with some injuries that happen, unfortunately, in training camp or in the preseason or early in the season. Maybe he's a trade before the deadline or something like that. And that's the kind of thing that I think suddenly he becomes a pretty attractive option when if you all of a sudden needed a guy of that between starter and backup caliber right this minute, and you look around the league at who is available and for what price, I think that Will Levis and the inferred price on his head is one of, if not the most attractive options.
Yep. Okay, so you're at a 6, I'm at a 4.5, with room to grow. But you're right. If nothing's going to change over the next 6 weeks.
No, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, that's just not how the league works. Here's Will Levis after
everyone's on the beach or on the lake. They're not making trades.
Well, let's see where's Will Levis going to go? That's where he started out.
Last night he was
in a week, and then just get back into workouts, ramping up more closer to when we get back to report. Spend time with the family, take time to get my mind off things. But I'll be mostly here and bounce around a little bit. Not really any big trips planned quite yet, but take it day by day.
The work you did, I guess, in California and coming back here, could you tell the difference yourself here in camp about technique changes or any tweaks you made?
Yeah, I just thought the consistency and I think accuracy, ball placement, timing, rhythm is the best it's ever been in my career, and it was cool to feel that throughout the 8 weeks and see it transition to the field and on the tape.
So, I mean, he says, the real answer there, the most accurate, best timing that he's felt because of the work that he did in California with Jordan Palmer over the offseason. That's what's going to make him more tradable. And it's seeing the actual transition to the tape that he's talking about. He says he's seen it over the last however many weeks that he's been back at the Titans facility. It needs to maintain. You can't just disappear over the next 6 weeks and has to rebuild it when it comes to training camp. Like, it's got to continue to stack and stack so he becomes more tradable, because he also wants out. We all know that. It's no secret. It would be best for everybody involved for him to be wearing a different jersey as soon as possible.
Yep, 100%. And so I think, not only did he say he feels the most accurate he's ever been, which I don't think I think he's serious about that. I think he thinks that. We heard from Brian Callahan, was this yesterday morning? I think yesterday morning, talking about how, and he said, I love that he opens the statement, this is not just lip service, which I believe him that he really thinks this, but the fact that he's saying it does make it lip service. He's like, this is not just lip service, and then proceeds to say a bunch of really nice things about Will Levis and his development.
I think that's just Brian Callahan being very aware of how things are portrayed on social media and where things run.
Yeah, no, he gets it.
Yeah.
But whether you say that at the beginning of your statement or not, we still all know what it is. We know.
Maybe. All right. Anyway, I saw some comments and I was like, I don't want to go down that lane.
Not worth it.
No, not worth the time. Not worth the conversation. But let's do some good news. Let's give away some Holiday World tickets.
Hey,
I've got a pack of 4 tickets that somebody watching this show is going to win to Holiday World and Splash Safari. And how you do it? Submit a good news. That's it.
Oh.
If you submit a good news for this week, then
I'm going to be glued to the chat to get all the news.
Because Easton, your job is to hit the star button for every good news. Now, we need you to start your comment with good news so we can track them appropriately. So we will star all these good news comments, then we'll put them in the magic bucket maybe, or whatever. We'll throw it around and we'll pick a random winner for the 4-pack of tickets to Holiday World and Splash Safari. So Easton's got his eyes on the good news watch. Good news to wrap up this week. And a big shout out to Holiday World and Splash Safari. We're about to give these tickets away today. We got more coming out on social media as well. Just a couple hours north of downtown Nashville in Santa Claus, Indiana. A summer your kids will never forget. Free soft drinks, free sunscreen, free parking, all that great stuff. Celebrating 25 years of free soft drinks and parking. And they've got roller coasters that are continually to get better and stronger. The water park, Splash Safari, is top notch. Easton's been there over 20 times, he says, and is itching to get back. So Holiday World and Splash Safari right there in Santa Claus, Indiana. So I hope you've been able to spy the good news and watch the good news there. I see a lot of comments have been favorited. So maybe I will start to read them while you continue to favorite them.
Perfect.
I think that's the right way to go. And by the way, disclaimer, how good your good news comment has no factor on who wins. It does not matter, because the first thing I saw was job interview lined up on Monday. That's awesome for Rashid. Caleb says, good news. The NBA finals actually good this year. Yeah, unexpectedly. I don't think anybody thought the Pacers would have a fighting chance.
Not true. I was a Pacers believer.
Okay, good.
Let it be known.
Draylon, good news. 4-month-old started rolling over. That is great news. Tall Texan, good news. Fake football is over and training camp awaits. All right. Ashley says, good news. Finally able to play a couple ball games this week. Don't know what that necessarily means, but good for you. Brock says, good news, taking the family to Nashville for a vacation this Sunday. Welcome to town. Hope you guys have a good time. Jeff, good news. Liverpool completed the transfer of Florian Wirtz from Baker Leverkusen for $171 million. Broke British transfer records.
That is not a real sentence. None of those words were real.
Yeah, those are fake people. Nick says, good news. It's Father's Day weekend for both Easton and Austin. And Nick, how about that? That's correct.
That still hasn't really hit me. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because happy first Father's Day weekend to you.
Happy you as well.
Thank you. Cameron says, good news. My wife and I just got approval for a new home. Hopefully can move into it next week. That's awesome. And Nick's not getting points for pandering for these tickets either. So Donald that's not good news. Why'd you favorite that?
What? Oh, I didn't mean to.
Trilogy, good news. Daughter graduated high school Tuesday. Boston Diamond, good news. Finally had a decent quote to do some basement work they need done. Jonathan, good news. Oilers beat the Rats last night. Jay, good news.
The Rats, that's crazy.
Yeah, starting a new job in a few weeks. Denise, off all summer because I got laid off. Yeah, me. Well, that's a silver lining, positive way to look at that. Summer vacation right there for Denise. And Joshua, good news. Nephew's birthday. Matt says, big dad news. Daughter goes to sleep away for camp for the first time in a few days. They grow up so fast. Josh says, Barber says he can squeeze me in today. That's some good news there. I need a haircut too. David says, just got married a couple weeks ago. Time for a new chapter. That's big. New Mexico Titan. Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Orlando says, I'm getting a new grill for Father's Day. Good news there. Brad says, not for the giveaway. Definitely too far away for him. Okay. But hey, lost 95 pounds in 9 months. 10 pounds away from the goal. Big time, Brad.
Take that out since big time, Brad. Very impressive.
Big time, Brad. But you're going to unstar that so he doesn't get. That's fair. I appreciate you mentioning that. Hey, how about Brad? How about new goal? Set a new goal. You're 10 pounds away. Set a new goal. Keep on going. Keep on going. You got that. Swan says Kendrick performs in Toronto, Drake land today for Friday the 13th. Spooky. That is funny. Caleb got a promotion and raised mid-year eval. Good there. There's a lot, right? This may be the most good news we have. I think I have to stop at some point because I have that you have counted like 40 plus good newses.
Yes.
So, Easton, what is your good news?
Oh man. My good news, I don't know. My good news is that we do get a little bit of a break here. It's difficult, our job the next month or so. But I do like that, there's consistency, those of us that are pros, we'll be fine. There's plenty of topics to talk about the next couple of weeks. And we get to do, I don't have to go to anything like the Titans facility. So, we'll do some trips, maybe go to the pool with the family. I'm just looking forward to some domestic life, just some domestic life the next couple of weeks. Enjoying the summer.
My good news is that Easton's movie book project starts next week.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I do have more work now that the other.
You have more work. Hey, you mentioned it. Hey, in my 20s, I've started to say, let's go to the theater more.
You're right.
Well, we're about to give you some homework here. Matthew, by the way, congratulations to you and your wife, expecting in a few weeks here. So this is what I want. I already know because I think the first one you should watch is Remember the Titans. Then after that, we will put up a poll of movies that Easton should watch to do his book report once a week. So once a week book report, movie report for Easton. All right, let's set the deadline live on the show. What day next week do you want to do your Remember the Titans movie report?
I think Fridays are the best movie report days.
Okay,
so
you're gonna do Friday.
Let's pick the new movies on Fridays because I'll be able to watch them on the weekend or have the rest of the week to figure it out.
Yes,
and then I will report on said movie on the following Friday.
So, Remember the Titans. You must report back to us.
I have 7 days.
Edward says, "Stop writing articles and watch movies." No, this is extra.
I know it's on top.
This is on top. But you have more time.
Movies.
But you have more time, right? You're not going to the facility. You just said how much time you have.
You're right. I do have more time.
I'm gonna fill it right there for you. So so for your book report, I will work. My job is to give you parameters for your report. You have to watch the movie, and then I will work on giving you things that I want you to come back with. Some type of rubric.
Okay.
I haven't used that word in a long time.
Yeah.
That's correct, right? Rubric?
Yeah, rubric. Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say.
Would you like to? I have a way for us to do this drawing right now if you'd like to.
The drawing?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like for the tickets.
Oh, you what'd you do?
So we've starred 43 good newses.
Yeah.
I have a magic wheel on my computer, which I can share on the screen with 43 numbers on it. And we can just pick which comment gets it.
Oh, okay. I like that a lot. Because then we have
sense?
Yeah. Because then we'll
count through and decide and figure out who, because they're in order by the time they were sent in.
That's true.
So let me share my screen real quick.
Okay. I'm gonna give us we're not gonna do trivia, but it's gonna look like we are. Okay.
All right, so 1 through 43. I'll give her a spin and see who gets to go to Holiday World. Comment number.
Oh,
33 by a hair.
All right.
So count 10 up from the bottom.
Yeah, thank you for that. That'd been easier. No, I'm gonna count 1 to 33. So
Okay.
you filibuster for a second.
Okay, I'm filibustering by talking about how much fun this person and their 4 friends are going to have when they go to Holiday World. I certainly recommend. Here's the insider game plan. If you're planning on going to the water park, which I do recommend, they have locker rentals, which are very affordable. You can have them for the whole day. They're very large, and they're in the area between the water park and the theme park. Get a bag of sunscreen, change of clothes, whatever you need to be able to go from the theme park to the water park. First thing, go in, rent a locker, put all your stuff in that locker, do the theme park for an hour or 2, hit some bigger rides. They're going to have long lines when it's early. Then do the water park in the heat of the day. Come back from the water park when people get tired and go home around 3-4 p.m. and then just pound the rest of the theme park until they shoot you home at the end of the night. That is the best way to hit all of the park in one day. All right, who's going, Austin?
All right. We might have to respin.
Oh, no. What happened?
Because Darius says, good news, baby might be here soon.
Oh, no.
So either Darius can't take his significant other because they're very pregnant because the baby might be here soon, or the baby's going to be here and they won't be able to go because the baby's here and the season will be over.
So should we spin for a backup and then talk to Darius about whether or not he wants
we should
to
spin for a backup, and then Darius will get first right of refusal just in case.
All right, so this is who gets it if Darius's baby gets in the way. Comment number. Well, this is going to be easy.
Oh, thank goodness.
41.
All right.
So the third to last comment that we favorited is who? Have you found them? Are you counting up to 41? Hello?
I took my ear out so I can count without you bothering me.
It's the third to last comment.
I just wanted to double check. Give me a break. I counted both ways. I'm not trying to get this wrong.
Okay. All right.
Brian Bowman is our backup if Darius cannot go.
For the most generic good news of all time.
Yes.
It's Friday.
Hey, it didn't matter.
Hey, it counts.
1 away from our backup was Devin, who says, good news, Austin looks more and more like a Three Musketeer every day.
That would have hurt. That would have hurt if that guy won.
Oh, man. But so Brian Bowman is our backup. Darius Horton is our first winner. So shout out to you guys. Look, this is fun. Nate, you know what? I'm not going to give away the other 4-pack on social media because I'm going to do this again next week because this is way more fun.
Yeah. Okay.
This is way more fun this way. So that's what we're going to do. But that's it for us. Shout out to Darius and for Brian for being our good news Holiday World ticket winners and backup winner. So we'll do that again next week because that's a lot of fun too. So we'll catch you guys later on. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Make sure you hit that like button, like the show, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks.